So sorry about that. What we were talking about before was the financial challenges that you're facing now as he stays in the current facility, and then possibly transition to a out-of-pocket rehabilitation center.
Right. So when you are in rehab, you can pay a copay with his insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Copay is like $170 a day, something like that. When they decide they have to discharge you, and all of this makes sense, and I understand all of it. When they decide they have done everything they can in rehab, they have to discharge him. Well, then the insurance company says, okay, rehab is done.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to kick you out, obviously. If he has no place to stay, he can stay. However, he goes from $170 to $485 a day.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, okay, I could be paying the copay, I could be paying that, but why would I waste money on that when I could go and start to pay towards the memory care facility?
Mm-hmm.
So you are on a timeline. I mean, you know everybody's safe, nothing bad's going to happen, but you know, everyone has limited resources and money does run out. And memory care facilities do accept Medicaid. They don't like to, but they do. The thing is, Medicaid won't, that's if he were to run out of money. Medicaid won't, you can't apply for Medicaid for memory care. You can only apply for Medicaid for skilled nursing. Well, he is not at the level that he needs skilled nursing. That would be too severe, too restrictive. And so we don't want to jump to skilled nursing. So it's just a lot of things have to fall into place very neatly in order for us to go on to the next step. And that's what's hard, to have that conversation with my mother, because she doesn't understand it and she doesn't remember it after you explain the whole thing to her. So it's a lot. We had prepared the Medicaid application information, not the application, but the information for the application, and literally probably about 3 or 4 nights working until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, because I thought I had to have it by this certain appointment, and then go to the appointment and they say, oh, you don't qualify for Medicaid yet, so we don't need any of that stuff. But on the sunny side, on the flip side, it's done. So whenever we need to take it, it's there. It actually might come in handy for the nursing home. Not the nursing home, the memory care place. They may need that stuff. So, I mean, there's always upsides. It's just a lot. And I take a look at, it's the summer. I missed a lot of family activities, you know, the holidays and that type of thing, because I needed to be there. Part of it is being the oldest. Part of it is being the closest to the facility. So that seems kind of unfair. I think, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm living from one big event to the next big event to the next in retirement, because I'm retired. I guess I didn't envision it like that. I thought in retirement you kind of set your own schedule, and you should be able to not do anything if you don't want to do something, and you should be able to read all day if you want to read all day, little things like that. That's just not the case, which seems kind of disappointing.
So you're disappointed in how your retirement has been going so far, because you do feel a big responsibility to take care of your parents, because you said you were the oldest and the closest, but you still kind of thought that you could spend a lot more time relaxing during the time off and kind of setting your own schedule the way you want it?
Kind of. I think the thing for me is when I was working in my career in administration, I spent a lot of time in my job. My job really came first very often, which isn't right, but it did. I ran a school, so there were a lot of things that needed to be taken care of. So very often I felt guilty that I was paying attention to my job more than my home and my family. So I was really looking forward to retirement, saying, okay, that's going to be done, and now I'm going to be able to focus on my house and my family and things that I would like to do. And the first year of my retirement, I ended up going back to work because they needed an administrator to run a building. So I ended up doing that. And so again, retirement got delayed. Now I'm back to being retired, and I work part-time, but I can set my own hours. but now this responsibility's cropped up. So it always felt like, okay, I'll take care of Dad. After I take care of Dad, then I'll be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I said to a friend of mine, I said, I keep living from one big event to the next, or one thing on the list
Mm-hmm.
to take care of to the next. And that's not what I expected it to be, but she said, actually, that's kind of how life is.
Yeah, right.
You go from one thing to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's right, because that means when you get to the end of the list, is that it? I don't know. It just seems
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird that you have to build your life around events
Mm-hmm.
instead of just having events in your life.
Right. So, what are some things you could see yourself doing, kind of implementing throughout the stressful times over these big events? Do you see yourself spending time doing activities for yourself?
Probably being the person that I am. I'm an organizer, so I think the lists are always going to be there. What I would love to have happen is, like, we get him into this top-notch memory care unit facility, have him feel good about being there, because it really is a beautiful place. And we dropped in and we saw people in their, in their natural day,
Mm-hmm.
and they did seem very well taken care of and comfortable and that type of thing. So it would be great to get him into that. It would be great to get my mother into a routine where, maybe she goes for dinner twice a week. Other days, maybe she goes in for, after lunch, hour here, hour there. I just can't see her spending the rest of her life having to go somewhere every single day
Mm-hmm.
and not having a life, kind of like what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'd like to get into a routine. If we could get into a routine, he could get into a routine. This place wants their residents to be active all the time. They have activities, they have field trips, they have all kinds of things. So I'd love to have him feel good about doing that,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could get a balance. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the key is trying to find a balance. And once I get them balanced,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel good about that, then I think my sister and I can get back to doing our balance. I mean, the goal is, knock on wood, the goal is to go on this trip, everybody be settled and set where they need to be, so that my husband and I can go on this trip that's like 25 years in the making,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to do that and then come home and continue on with the routine. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm optimistic about it. You have to be. But that's what I would kind of like to see, just to get a routine,
Mm-hmm. So I do notice that you are optimistic and have a goal set. So to kind of wrap up and sum up our session here, we talked a lot about some struggles that you have, but also some goals and plans that you have for the future. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is that once you get set in a routine, you'll be able to take some time for yourself?
If I can get the routine set up, I would say it's probably a 7 or an 8, because we're talking about people and health.
Great.
And you can only depend so much on that.
Great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about it. I think looking forward, we have a good chance of kind of finding a balance, like you said, getting a routine down so that not only are your parents happy and living a life they want, but that you can get back to kind of living the life that you plan and enjoying your retirement.
Yeah, I think this is just a part of my generation. This is what we do.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.